Many top sides which high press now rely on a screening centre forward. This false 9 press covers the opposing pivot, allowing the two wingers to jump forward. This video will cover this particular pressing strategy with examples from some of the best teams in the world. This video is part of the Micro Tactics series, looking at the intricate details, strategies and emerging trends from the highest level of the game. The first pressing example comes from Manchester City, where the 8 and 10 drop into the outside shoulders of their opponents. This maintains a 3 versus 2 overload. The centre forward will then drop to screen the opposing pivot, and even as the play is built into the opposing centre back, the 9 will continue to screen across. The midfield trio will then shift across with the ball, with the back line also readjusting as the ball moves. The closest winger then aggressively presses from out to in as the winger on the far side moves into the inside channel. This leaves only the far wide area as the free space inside the opposition's half. Should the opposition decide to play over into a deeper fullback, Manchester City's closest central midfielder will then press out towards the ball. The remaining 2 in central midfield are then forced to man mark. The centre forward will continue to screen ahead of the opposing pivot player. Here, this is in action away at Leeds United, where wingers Torres and Sterling are pressing inwards. Mahrez is the centre forward, screening ahead of single pivot Phillips. And as the play is forced over Man City's press, De Bruyne as the 8 presses outwards towards Leeds' receiving fullback. Liverpool have also demonstrated this defensive strategy, as the closest winger presses inwards. But should the opposition push one winger inside, and then a fullback high, now moving ahead of the line of the central midfield, then a direct pass over must be dealt with by Liverpool's fullback. As the rest of the back line slides across in cover, the defensive midfielder will also retreat, covering any access back inside. The rest of the central midfield unit, plus the closest winger and the centre forward, then attempt to lock the ball into the wide area. Alternatively, as the winger continues to jump inwards, a deeper opposing fullback can also be pressed by one of Liverpool's fullbacks. Here, the rest of the back line again slides across, but this time the defensive midfielder will then drop into the back line as opposed to screening ahead of it. As seen previously, the closest teammates then press across the pitch, locking the ball into the wide area. This is demonstrated away at Everton, with Firmino marking the pivot player, as Mane and Minamino press inwards as the 2 wingers. However, as Firmino is defending from behind the pivot player and not screening ahead of him, Everton can bounce the ball around Mane's press. So from here, Liverpool's fullback Milner has jumped forward ready to press onto his winger opponent, with the rest of the attacking unit pressing across the pitch. This is the main example of how to lock the ball towards the touchline. PSG's version of this particular press has again started with the central midfielders defending on the outside shoulders of their opponents. As the 9 screens, both wingers again start inside, ready to press inwards. However, unique to PSG has seen the fullback and central midfielder flip their roles, even as the overall pressing structure remains the same. A 3 versus 2 overload in central midfield still exists, with PSG also able to push one of their fullbacks high if needed. If used, the rest of the back line will then shift across and mark man for man. As the ball is moved across, PSG's 9 will continue to screen, with the wingers pressing inwards. Direct opposing play over and towards the far fullback is then pressed by PSG's higher and now narrowed fullback. As seen previously, the rest of the attacking units then support across the pitch, locking the ball into the wide area. In the Champions League against Real Madrid, Messi has dropped back to cover the pivot, with Mbappe and Di Maria inside, ready to press the centre-backs. Right back Hakimi has swapped with central midfielder Pereira, with the left back Mendes also high, ready to press into the wide area if needed. As the play is built around, Mendes jumps forward, with wingers Mbappe and Di Maria aggressively pressing. Verratti, Paredes and Hakimi cover the 2 opposing number 8s in a 3v2 overload, with Messi still screening the pivot. Centre-back Marquinhos, still man marking, has tracked the dropping centre forward. Another example from Manchester City, still involving the centre forward screening, and the wingers tracking any movements from the opposing fullbacks, particularly those towards the ball. But should the opposition push the far fullback high, Man City have also tracked this run via their winger. If the ball is then worked across the back line, the number 9 will continue to screen the pivot. However, the closest central midfielder may then press vertically, working through the inside channel. It's absolutely essential that this particular press isn't beaten by a forward pass, as it will be very difficult for the rest of the midfield to move across in time. But if this does happen though, the winger on the far side must then move inwards to support and maintain the central overload. But if the play is switched back, the winger then jumps out to press. As the 9 continues their screening role, the rest of the midfield will slide across. If the fullback jumps out aggressively to press, the rest of the backline will also slide across with the ball. Here at Chelsea, De Bruyne is screening the pivot with Sterling and Foden pressing inwards. However, as Silva as the number 8 jumps out from central midfield pressing onto Chelsea's centre-back, Sterling and Cancelo between them will fill inside, supporting Gundogan and Rodri. This helps maintain the central midfield overload under De Bruyne as the screening number 9. One attempted solution used against Manchester City involves 2 players dropping as a double pivot around their single centre forward. Here, Man City's number 9 screens ahead of one of these pivots, with one of the central midfielders then jumping forward, adding a second screening player. This sees a double centre forward screen. From here, both wingers then push forwards, with the 2 remaining players in the midfield unit now defending as a pairing, working around the opposing number 10. As the play is built around Man City's double first line screen, the wingers will continue their aggressive inward press. From here, it is common to see a setback towards the goalkeeper. And should the winger continue their press now onto the goalkeeper, whilst also blocking the feet of both the opposing fullback and centre-back, then an aerial pass out and over towards the wide area is often their only solution. This is then pressed by the closest of Man City's 2 central midfielders. The winger on the far side will then narrow to rebalance the press. Alternatively, against a much higher fullback, Man City's own fullback will then jump out and press any wide area pass. The rest of the backline then slides across to cover, and it is important that the winger initially pressing also recovers back. This stops the opposition build via their own centre-backs. This particular press is also enhanced if the 9 and 10 continue to screen in front of their direct opponent. Against Arsenal, Silva and De Bruyne have been used as a double screen with wingers Sterling and Mahrez pressing inwards. Fernandinho and Gundogan just out of shot then cover any aerial pass over and towards Arsenal's fullbacks. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe and share, and don't forget to provide any new analytical ideas for the channel to explore. Please also check out the latest book from the channel titled Football in a Pandemic, an insight into the strategies and tactics used during the COVID-19 pandemic.